Good morning, guys. This is Lebanon coming to you with another video. This video is going to be entirely dedicated to what it takes in Valor points in order to go from one level to the next. All right, so this is like kind of complicated and everything, but I'm going to try and go through and help you out as best I can with it. Now, bear in mind, some levels are easier to get to than the others. Okay, so let me show you why. Whenever you're trying to go up from one level to the next, every single person is basically going to their academy and they're going to research, the next level. So let's look at Guardsmen, 1. Most players, when you're first starting out, you're looking at like going from Guardsman level 1 to Guardsman level 2 and 2 to 3, 3 to 4, all the way across. Now, there are certain ones that you have to do. So you initially start with all these, and then you must do guardsman training cost and guardsman carrying capacity before you get to the next one. And then as you go from 2 to 3, you have to do guardsman training cost and guardsman march speed, and so on. And it's usually like march speed, carrying capacity, training cost, march speed. You see, the ones that go directly down the middle, if you're playing on your phone, it's vertical. If you're playing on the computer, it'll be horizontal like this. Now, the ones off to the side, you do not have to do, but these would basically, the ones down the middle, like I call them the prerequisites. Basically, what that means is like you have to do this before you can get to your actual level. So, like level 5, where we have archers, spearmen, riders, and a battle griffin. These are the two prerequisites that you need to get done before you get there. So you'll notice that like for guardsmen, it's you have to go 10 out of 10. And for some of them, it's like whether or not it's monsters or siege or whatever, it might be like, oh, you only have to do 8 out of 10 or whatever. Or like I think most of them are pretty much 10 out of 10, especially if you go into archaeology. But when you're talking about like guardsmen, it's 10 out of 10. Okay, so now how much does it cost to go from one level to the next? So let me go through and show you in reverse because then you'll be able to understand this a little bit easier. Okay, so this is when we get up to the G9 level, and then we're going to work backwards. Now, I know that some people are like, oh, well, G9 doesn't exist. It's actually like, the Roman numeral 2 or whatever, or however the heck you want to terminalize it. I don't give a darn. I had one person go through and message me, and they're just like, hey, can you please explain this to other people? Like, or like let me know, is there a thing called G9? If you use G9 and people don't know what it is that you're talking about, they're idiots. Okay? Because everybody knows there is 9 level guardsmen. I don't give a darn if it's Roman numeral 2 or Roman numeral 1 is like G8 and G9 or whatever. But it's like, dear gosh, people, get the thumb out of your butt. Okay, so in order to get to G9, you have to get 9 trillion Valor points. So we have 9 trillion for the Purifier, 9 trillion for the Punisher, 9 trillion for the Smiter, and 9 trillion for the Corax. That's 36 trillion in total. Now, if you look at the prerequisites, if my calculations were correct and everything, which I think they were at the time, because I try to memorize as much as I can of this game. If I don't get it perfect, I do apologize. It will cost you 84 trillion between the two prerequisites. So, like 10 out of 10 on Guardsman March Speed level 7 is going to be 17 trillion Valor points. Level 9 is going to be 10. Level 8 is going to be 6.4, I think it was. Add it all up, it's about 42 trillion in order to do this entire prerequisite. The exact same thing for this side. Okay, so for those of you that are at lower level, you're like, dude, can you please help me on the lower levels? Like, why are you explaining the upper level? Here's the reason why it matters. Every single time that you go up a level, it's times 10 in Valor points. So if this in total, if you're doing the calculations and everything, you have 84 trillion on this, you have 36 trillion on this, that equals out to roughly 120 trillion points in Valor. Okay, so now you're like, all right, if we're not doing G9, which most people don't get to G9, what would it be for G8? Okay, so if it's a times 10 increase every single time that you go up a level, let's take 120 trillion and divide it by 10. Now, like, I'm doing math with my son, he's 6. And like, granted, his division skills are probably not great. He does know addition and subtraction, but whatever. I assume that most of you have some basic math ability. So 120 trillion divided by 10 is 12 trillion. So in order to do the prerequisites and then also go through and get the different characters, you need to do 12 trillion in Valor points. All right. So now let's flip on over to our Guardsmen 1 levels. We're going to go all the way to 7. If we have it to where it was 12 trillion in Valor points for Guardsman level 8 or Roman numeral 1, whatever the heck, then we're going to have it towards 1.2 trillion in order to get Guardsman level 7. So that means that this is going to be like, oh gosh, I'm trying to do the math in my head. 90 billion, I think. Yeah, I think it's like 90 billion for this one, 90 billion for that one, 90 billion for that one, 90 billion for this one. I think, if I remember correctly. Either which way, it's 1.2 trillion in total. So if you're going through and you're thinking like, oh, I'm almost there and everything, like, hey, do the math. Like, I'm getting, let's say you're getting 100 billion per fight, and you're trying to get to basically Guardsman level 7, then you're going to be needing to do this basically like, what, 12 times? 12 fights at 100 billion? But let's be honest, you're probably not making 100 billion per fight whenever you're at this level. You're probably doing more like maybe 50 or 10 billion or something like that. If you're doing 10 billion, then that means that you have to do 120 fights. You guys get the idea. Now, here's the good thing though. When you're trying to get Guardsman level 7, and this is the last level that this basically applies to, because after that you get screwed, and I'll show you why. Whenever you get a certain Guardsman level, like you unlock the first troop of that Guardsman level, like Heavy Halberdier, 7. Every single time that you gain a Guardsman level or unlock one troop, your Merc package that you're trying to buy will be 2 levels above your Guardsman. So if you're going for Guardsman level 7 and you achieve it, that means that now your Mercs will be basically the equivalent of level 9 Guardsmen. So the health and the strength will be basically a level 9. Now, when you're going for Guardsman level 8, and I'm going to flip back over to it and all, let's say you guys have a visual reference. Oh, there it is. I'm an idiot. When you get Guardsman level 8, you can no longer get 2 levels above it because there is no Guardsman level 10. So going from 7, you will have Merc level, 9, or basically Guardsman level 9 is your Mercs. But then when you get to level 8 and you're like, oh, well, it's going to go another 2 levels above. No, it doesn't. So I can get Punisher 1 or Guardsman level 8, my first troop, and then I'm looking for this new level of mercs and everything, but they don't exist. So you will still have the exact same mercenaries that you were getting at Guardsman level 7 on Guardsman level 8. Now, what this does is it makes it a whole heck of a lot harder in order to go from level 8 to level 9 than it was from 7 to 8. So what this does is like, for those of you that are just like, okay, how far do I want to go in the game before I basically just, you know, chill, like, all right, I'm good. If you're someone that really is super competitive, then yeah, you want to get to Guardsman level 9. But if you're like, holy crap, the amount of money that's going to cost you in order to go from Guardsman level 8 to Guardsman level 9, or the amount of time, because remember, guys, gaining in this game is either you spend time, or you spend money, or you spend both. In my main account, I've been spending both in order to be able to get up to Guardsman level 9. And it is expensive. I will just say that. Not going to tell you how much I've spent on the game at this point. It's disgusting. But I'm able to do it. I'm retired and I just, whatever. I only got so much vision left in my life. So, like, for those of you that don't know this, I'm going blind. I'll be blind within the next 2 years. I hope my son that's 6 years old is gonna be able to read very well within the next 2 years, because when I'm completely blind and I can no longer play this game, people are like, "Oh, what would you do with your account? Would you be willing to sell it?" First off, the creators of this game, if you ever mention selling your account, they will eviscerate you and kick you out of the game. So do not talk about selling your accounts. But people ask me, they're like, "Hey, can I buy your account off of you?" I'm not going to sell my account when I get out of this game, because I've invested so much time, so much money into it. I'm going to give it to my son. And so if you guys end up having it to where Leffinen is still playing this probably 2 years from now, you're probably playing against a 7 or 8 year old kid. Just let you know. Okay, so, anyways, Guardsman level 8, once you have it to where those mercs and everything, they're not going to go to level 10, they're going to be stuck at level 9. So let's say that you're purely in spend mode. You're not worried about time. You're just going to spend money in order to get it. There's this one guy named Mal. He was in Kingdom 500 with me, and he was spending a huge amount of money at the very beginning of the Beowulf season. And he went all the way up to Guardsman level 8 within days. I'm talking like 5, 6 days in order for him to get to Guardsman level 8. Now, in order to do it, he was spending crap tons of money. Now, you're thinking, like, okay, how much money is it going to cost me to go from Guardsman level 8 to Guardsman level 9? If you were to do it purely based upon spending, and we're not including like you're in a really good clan versus a really bad clan, we're talking pure spending. Let's say that you're doing Arachne Merc packages, which is the best money for the dollar. I'm sorry, the best money for the Valor point and everything. It would cost roughly about $10,000. Now, for those of you that are like, holy crap, that means that everybody that's Guardsman level 9 and all, like, they spent $10,000 in order to get up here. No. If you have it to where you're playing the game and you're doing like different, like you're building in your silver, you're mining, you have a good clan that's getting a lot of chests and they're doing this and they're doing that, you can get it to where that cost gets way the heck down. So it might not be to where you're spending money, you might be spending time, but you also need a good clan in order to help support you. And I have an entire video dedicated to which is the right clan, blah, blah, blah. So for those of you that are still following along, which I hope you are, when you get to Guardsman level 8, that is the last level that is easier to attain. After that, it becomes dang nuts. So if you're like, hey, I want to get to Guardsman level 8 as my final push in this game, and then I can chill, that'd be a good level to do it. Because Guardsman level 9 is going to take you for freaking ever or a ton of money. All right, so we went from, as far as like those of you that keeping along with the totals, and I'm gonna like help you out with this, and we're gonna go a little bit faster. This costs 120 trillion in Valor points, 12 trillion in Valor points for G8. Then we're gonna go up, and if you've been doing the math and everything, hopefully you actually can do the totals ahead of me. Guardsmen level 7, we're talking 1.2 trillion in total. So 90 billion, 90 billion, 90 billion, 90 billion. That's 360 billion. That means that you're basically using like 820 or 840 like billion on the prereqs. Okay, so we're at 1.2 for 7. That means that for this level, for 6, we're at 120 billion. So we're talking 9 billion, 9 billion, 9 billion, 9 billion for your different troops. That means that we're basically doing like, oh gosh, 80 some odd, 84 billion, I think, if I remember correctly. So we're doing by 10 and everything. So we did like 1.2. We're doing 120 billion. That means for 5 that we're doing roughly about 12 billion. And for that, you would be like 900 million, 900 million, 900 million, 900 million. But you add it all up, it equals out to about 12 billion. And then we go further down. So now we're talking like Guardsman level 4. For this, we're talking 1.2 billion. And that would be like 90 million, 90 million, 90 million for your 3 different troops. And then we go down. And oh gosh, I'm starting to lose track. It's all right, let me do fast. That's because it's easier that way. So we had the 120, we have for 9, we had the 12 trillion for 8. That means that for 7, we're at 1.2. And then we go to 120 billion, 12 billion, 1.2 billion, and then 120 million for level 3, 12 million, and you get those for free. So if I remember correctly, and let's see if I did my math correct the whole entire way. So G2, 12 million in total. G3, 120 million. G4 is 1.2 billion. G5 is 12 billion. G6 is 120 billion. G7 is 1.2 trillion. G8 is going to be 12 trillion. And then G9 is going to be 120 trillion. Yeah, I did it right. Woohoo! Okay, so there's a lot of math behind it. There's a lot of Valor points and everything else like that. And if you're trying to be like, okay, how do I know like how much or how many battles I'm going to have to fight in order to get there, blah, blah, blah. Because people do want to get a decent estimation like, okay, if I do this, it's going to take me this long. If I do that, this is going to take me that long. I have a buddy in my clan. He said like, hey, only spend money once a month because what it does is you can get like the packages, they'll drop the sales down in cost. So like I always recommend for everybody like doing the Arachne Merc package because it gives you the most like Valor points for your money. If you're trying to spend money on this game, and it is a good idea to spend money from time to time, I've spent a good amount in this game, like, recently, to where the Merc package is $250. If you spend money like once a month, this exact same Merc package, and granted, it'll be lower levels of troops, and depending upon your Guardsman level, it'll be like lower numbers and everything. And also their power will be lower levels. But you can get a Merc package of Arachne for $50. But every single time that you do the Arachne Merc package, always get the times two because you're going to get double the amount of gold as the original Merc package that you bought. So if it's $50 and you're going to be getting like, I think it's 180,000 in gold. Instead, you'll be getting 360,000 in gold if you're getting like, let's say 5,000 in this type of, Arachne troop, you'll be getting 10,000 in the Arachne troop. So target your purchases whenever you're going through and trying to gain huge amounts of valor in this game. Like some people, they just do it to where once a month they're gonna hit the Arachne, really, really hard, and they're gonna spend on that so that they could get this sale on down to $50. Granted, it'll be lesser levels of stuff, but when you do the times two, you're gonna be getting for $50 double the amount of stuff, so you can get a better bang for your buck, a little bit better money for it. So that would be the way that I would recommend it. But target your purchases, like, and also don't spend out of your budget and everything. The biggest thing about this game is like try and enjoy it. If you're having it to where you're having to worry about your credit card debt and everything because of this game, you're not going to be enjoying it and you're going to want to quit. So make sure you budget. Anyways, that's all for this video, guys. I hope you learned a whole lot about it. Like, 120 trillion for G9 all the way down to, I think it was like 12 million for G2, or like, and then it goes like 120 million for G3 and like 1.2 billion for G4 and all the way up. Basically, every single level is times 10. If you, figure it out for one level, then you're like, how much is it going to be for the next level? It's times 10. All right, with that being said, if you like the video, please hit the like button. You can go through and hit subscribe if you really want to. Um, I don't really, care. I mean, if you guys do, you do. If you don't, you don't. And if you want to message me directly in this game, it's easier if you just message my character Leffinen in Kingdom 100 directly. And I'll even show you guys exactly where I'm at. And this will help it if you want to attack me. Just saying. Okay, so I'm in FOC and I'm down here in the very bottom. I'll even pull up my coordinates. Kingdom 100, 451, 831. Now, granted, I do move around sometimes when I'm trying to like dance around attacks. Like this person's about to get attacked. Bad day for them. Anyways, but if you want to go through and find me, that's the easiest way to do it, or message me. I've had a few people reach out, like, directly, and I'm able to like keep up with them very quickly. I respond to comments faster that way than I do by if you put a comment on the video. So that's who I am. That's where I am. And if you're trying to find me on the map, and let's say you don't know how to do the coordinates, global map. All right, so Kingdom 100. I think there's an extra button. Hold on. Show my city. Okay. On the map, I'm at the very bottom of Kingdom 100. Oh, this opposite. I gotta click to drag up. Dang it. Yeah. I'm along the bottom southern coastline and everything. Like, if you search along the bottom coastline, I'm down there. Gosh, I hate this. No, not by coordinates. Landmarks, clan capital. You know what? Screw it. You guys can find me. I'm on the southern edge of Kingdom 100. If you don't know how to find that, yeah, you suck. Anyways, you guys have a good day. I hope you learned a lot from this video, and I will talk to you all later with a new video. Bye.